Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are going to be working on a pretty exciting little project that I have prepared for you. Well, kind of prepared, because we're actually going to build this landing page together. And I do have some parts that are kind of already ready and some others that aren't, so bear with me as we do it together. It shouldn't take us too long since I kind of have a good idea of how this is all going to work. But I also want you to keep in mind as we are designing this, not everything is going to be perfect because we are going to work on animating this much later. So let's jump right in, because this is going to be kind of like a two-part lecture where we talk about a landing page and also about a little bit of a form flow that we'll animate, which should be super cool. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I kind of have the beginnings of a nice little landing page here, and this is going to be like a desktop page. I have like a navigation, I have a bit of a hero completed, and the thing that I want to do is I want to ensure that this is going to be a nice and sleek, beautiful looking page. So I'm just going to press F and I'm going to go into desktop. And I'm just going to, that one's totally fine. Let's just rename it to landing page. So I just pressed Command R or Control R if you're on a Windows while I am selected on here. Well, I'm selected the actual frame. So this is how I'm going to just kind of place some of these things on here. We're going to keep this really simple. So this is the navigation I came up with. When I was thinking about this company, this fake company, I came up with the idea of calling it Reno, and I have all the different navigation items up top. I even have like a get your estimate, and I think this is where we're going to kind of link to a form flow. But we are going to keep this really simple, at least for the landing page. We'll have a couple of different parts, and then after we'll go through animating every single one of those parts. So we're going to make this look really, really beautiful. So we have a nice little landing page, again, using some auto layout. So we have the right column that is just with that big button over here. We have the get your estimate inside there. We have the login. So, go through the designs and explore them a bit, because you get a good indication of how to really build your own designs from here onward. And you can even build with me if you'd like, or you can just watch how I'm going to go ahead and just kind of place some of these things together. So I have the container over here. This is kind of the hero text I'm going to be working with. So we'll just place that right there. And once again, it is an auto layout container with a button, and we have some text in there. So I kind of just grabbed this text as well. You can come up with your own text. You can just throw lorem ipsum text. If you don't know what to put, I always use a plugin called lorem ipsum. And then all you need to do is have your text layer selected, and you can generate 2 sentences or whatever, which way you want to customize that lorem ipsum. So I have like 2 sentences there, but we could just kind of leave it as is. So let's get on track here. So I'm going to send this to the back. We can work on this pretty quickly. It doesn't need to be perfect. I like to keep things moving quick. What I like to do is also just create a layout grid. So we'll create one together. So I have columns. I'm going to set it to 12. Actually, let's do 40 in the gutters, and let me just do 64 pixels. Yeah, I think I already have it. I have it set to 60. Yeah, I have it set to 60 already. Okay, so 60 is going to be the magic number here. And we can place these any which way we like. Keep this nice and simple. I kind of have this see-through nav in the background. I think it adds like a little bit of a nice touch. So I have this hero, and I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm not even going to create a massive frame for it, because when I'm going to animate these, I want these to be like staggering. And I've showed you how to do that before, but we're going to use it for this landing page as well. So let's get going. Let's create this little section. So we have a press section over here. So we're just going to kind of place that. And that's just a regular filled frame. And we can take all these different press objects and center them within. So I kind of have something from like Fast Company, House, the New York Times Post. I just kind of made these all up. I have all these different types of brands that you can just kind of find online, totally up to you, to make it just seem much more believable. The next step is kind of, I guess, the process. We want to show them about process. So I have this background that I like. I kind of like this green. It's a really nice color overall. So I'm going to hold down Command while I actually move this, because this is set to, so it's set to mixed for some reason. Let's hold that again. There we go. So it's top and bottom. So we can just switch it to top. We're not really worried about it being super responsive right now. See, I already have some containers already ready. I just haven't really placed them in a canvas. So that is good. If we turn on our grid again, we can get a good indication of the spacing that we like. So that is perfect. So that is kind of like a streamlined process. And how does it work if we want to link to another page, or we can even create like an anchor link somewhere in there. We have like just the step process. And as you may notice, once again, we're not really putting everything in a frame together. We're keeping it really loose, especially if we need to animate it, which we'll decide later, of course. Okay, and next I want to do some testimonials. So let's pop this in here. So this is the testimonial screen. So just align it there until we kind of see that little red line. Perfect. And here we can grab these elements and throw them on our frame. Perfect. Okay, so we can actually create some nice overlays if we really wanted to here. That's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to just overlay this because I think it'll give us a nice little staggered delivery if we were thinking about like just ways to make this little interaction nice over here in this part. So we have kind of like reviews and testimonials. So we'll probably build a little mini carousel as well. And then the way we kind of parallax into this, we're going to be doing lots of parallax. So we'll be able to kind of stagger that delivery as well. So, and then maybe we'll just center that. I think that's clean enough. So as you can tell, I'm using auto layout for a lot of different things, because not only does it ensure that my content is resizable if I need to like bring it in a bit, but it really helps just keeping things super clean. I love it. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is, this one's already done and completed. So I just created a big frame, and inside this frame, let's take a look. We have the background, which is the image. So we can remove some of this stuff. I also have a radial. So to make this, so the radial on the image is going to make this much more readable, legible, and just easier on the eyes. So you don't have to strain to read it. But we can also kind of stagger the delivery over here. So I'm already starting to think about all the elements I want to animate, because we're going to create some beautiful designs. Another thing to think about also is that, you know, when you're designing, you want to make sure like your color palettes are looking nice. I didn't really go into like why I came up with this brand or the colors for this brand, but you can tell even by the imagery I've chosen, like the browns go really nice with the green. So another conscious design choice. I didn't just kind of create it for no reason. So we're just going to extend that all the way down again. Okay, we can figure out a way to kind of stack these nicely. So I'm just going to move this in there. Just stack these like so. Yeah, I think we can do a nice job here of just staggering them. Oops. Let's bring these ones in here as well. I think that's going to look really sharp. So that's really nice. So we can do a lot with that when it comes to actual delivery of the items when we kind of scroll into screen. So that's going to look beautiful. And then let's move into, well, we're almost done here. So we've been moving really quickly. Hopefully you're all able to really keep up with this. It's just about kind of showing you how I think about placing stuff. I can go into just how I created this like basement card. This is responsive as well. So it's an auto layout with the details on the bottom half, and then the actual image on the top half. And the button is there. I have the container for the actual details, and the container is set to fill container. Same with all the content inside is all set to fill container. And then the actual basement card has a background color like this, so it's going to bleed through. So that's kind of how I created those cards. When I go to the gallery, we can have this move all the way up. I've already designed this because I'm going to actually animate this gallery going up and down. So you have the different images in here, and they're all stacked with auto layout, one on top of each other with 40 pixels spacing between. And the images all are kind of fixed within, so no need to worry about that. I mean, you can do the fixed width, the fill container width if you really wanted to, and have them scale like that. So, I mean, we can take the liberties of doing that ourselves right now. And I have the whole container here, this frame gallery container, set to clip. So it's going to clip everything beyond that. So we can have this kind of scrolling in the background. It's going to look really sharp when we're done with it. And then I have the auto layout container or frame over here as well. And you'll notice I do it even with my buttons. It just makes it much more easy to manage because you can just kind of keep them centered, and then you can kind of work on spacing them any which way you like, or you can have it hug the contents. Totally up to you. You can have it fill the container if you need to. So I just have it hugging the contents. And then let's get on to the last part. So I just have a very simple kind of like call to action for contact information. This is going to be really simple. Another schedule call, and the text in a auto layout container along with a larger text to just say like hello@reno.com. And then we have the footer, and this is pretty self-explanatory itself. Once again, created with auto layout. We have a bunch of different columns here, so we can go through this. This is just set up easily with a regular frame, but inside it we have this text over here, we have the Reno logo, and then we have auto layout sections on top of the grid that we created. So the different options we have here are like, I just kind of threw these in here, totally up to you. And then I have a rule at the very top, horizontal rule that just kind of adds a little bit of punctuation. And I have basically that's it. So that's going to be our design. Let me just kind of tighten that up. So that's going to be our landing page. Something really simple. It looks really sleek, and we're going to animate all the different parts of it one by one. We'll create a bunch of different flows, and I'm going to teach you that next.